Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on where you are in this world. God bless you. This is Gloria White coming to you from Utah, USA. Today I'm answering a question. It was in regards to the 3 meteor showers that were coming upon the earth, and this is just this past week. Now, they said this is something in the Bible. They believe this is in the Bible. Well, meteor showers are not in the Bible, but falling stars certainly are. And if we look at Jesus's words here in Mark chapter 13, we will see these stars. Let's see. For in those days, verse 19, for in those days shall be affliction such as was not from the beginning of the creation, which God created unto this time, neither shall be. We are talking about the tribulation. And except that the Lord hath shortened those days, no flesh should be saved. But for the elect's sake, whom he hath chosen, he hath shortened the days. And if any man shall say to you, Lo, here is Christ, or Lo, he is there, believe them not. Because when our Lord comes, the sky's going to bust open and we're going to see all the saints and his angels. For false Christs and false prophets shall arise, and shall show signs and wonders in the sky, to seduce, if it were possible, even the elect. But take ye heed, behold, I have foretold you all things. Now, but in those days, after that tribulation, so when is the falling stars going to occur? After the tribulation. The sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light. And the stars of heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. And then shall he send his angels, and shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from the uttermost part of the earth to the uttermost part of heaven. Now, if we are in Jude, which is the last book before Revelation in the New Testament, we are in verse 13. Raging waves of the sea, foaming out or up their own shame. Wandering stars, to whom is reserved the blackness of darkness forever. For Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these sayings. Behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000s, thousands of his angels, or of his saints, So he will execute judgment when he comes. Now, another thing I wanted to point out is they say there's nothing in the Bible regarding tsunamis, but that's not true. If you look at raging waves of the sea foaming up their own shame, these are tsunamis. So just wanted to throw that in there while we were looking at these falling stars. Now, if we go to Revelation chapter 6, verse 13, and we read, And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs, when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll, when it is rolled together. And every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, Fall on us, hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. Now, you might be saying, well, who are these stars? Well, let's go look at we can go to the book of Isaiah in the Old Testament in chapter 34, verse 4. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their host shall fall down. as the leaf falleth off the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. Now, this is the coming of the angels with the Lord. And if we look in Isaiah 14 in the Old Testament, in the King James Version of the Holy Bible, if we start in, let's start in verse 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, Art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of the harps. The worm or maggots is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? And Lucifer translates actually into day star. How art thou cut down, O Lucifer, son of the morning. How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars, which are angels of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north, or the farthest sides of the north. I will ascend above the height of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake heavens? That the world, the one world system, the new world order, as a wilderness, made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the houses of his prisoners. That is Satan fallen. So, but when we're talking about these stars falling in the end times, these are God's angels coming down with him. So let's look at Mark 13, 25 through 27. We're going to start in verse 24 in chapter 13 in the book of Mark. But in those days, after that tribulation, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light. And the stars of heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. So these fallen stars that we're talking about here, one was when Lucifer fell. And we know because he's here on this earth causing all kinds of problems. His spirit is here. And his spirit is actually going to go into a man. And because the number of the man is 666, and that is going to be a man that rises up. He'll just be in a man's body. But it'll be the one and only Satan. Let's see. But then our Lord will come. And that's what all these other verses about the fallen stars regard. So now we're going to Luke chapter 21, verses 25 through 33. If I can get the page unstuck. Okay. 21. Oh, I'm in 22. I'm in actually 20. So now we want to be 21, verse 25. Okay. And now, my friend, and there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. So here we see the waves roaring again, which is indicative of a tsunami. men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. So when we see stars in great numbers falling from heaven, this is the Lord coming. So that has not occurred now. It has nothing to do with the meteor showers that we're just saw, or any of the previous meteor showers that we've seen. But the fallen stars are the angels of heaven coming down to earth. So I hope that answers the question that was raised. And as always, whoops, I love you.